Hello everybody, Stu and Andy here at Plough Lane, the new Plough Lane Stadium. Sorry about the mowers in the background, but we thought we'd give you a view of a stadium that a few of you have probably seen so far. Just before we start, you see these big flaps just over my shoulder. There was 5 Ipswich fans on the top of those today, so fair play for them to get in and get a vantage point of the game. They probably wish they didn't, because Ipswich Town have lost 3-0 at AFC Wimbledon. Over to you.
Ugh. This is miserable, isn't it? There's such a sort of mismatch between the feeling off the pitch and the feeling on it at the moment. The news of the takeover is obviously very positive, plans for the future very positive, but the Ipswich Town present is thoroughly miserable. AFC Wimbledon were 2-0 up in 25 minutes here. Josh Harrop then gets a red card on 28th minutes, and the game's up. There's less than half an hour in against a team that are still battling relegation, Ipswich chasing the playoffs, and the game is done after half an hour. It's pretty woeful, isn't it, really? Miserable, in fact.
Yeah, semi-spirited second half with 10 men, but then it's job done for Wimbledon at that point. They're 2-0 up, they've got their lead to protect, they've got the man extra advantage. Ipswich huffed and puffed, usual story, no goal threat there. They've conceded some sloppy goals today. The one saving grace of recent weeks with all the 0-0s was the clean sheets being kept. A thumping header from a corner, but he's got his run on his man, and then a free header from an open play cross. They didn't stop the crosses enough. This lawnmower can do one. This is going to sound awful. We'll plough on at Plough Lane.
Very good.
And that's it. That was tonight over and done with, and I'm afraid that is the season over and done with. The gap to the playoffs is now 5 points. There's 6 games left now. They're not winning games, they're not scoring goals. Let's not beat about the bush. It's done. It's been done for a little while. Bring on the summer. Bring on the wholesale changes that are going to come from Paul Cook. Another typically forthright and honest post-match assessment from him. In one breath he says, I'm not going to throw the players under the bus, but then says, as a manager, I don't trust them out there. That he acknowledges that the players are bored and tired of this now. And that change has to come in the summer. He's told them before this game, a season-defining game in his words, that these players had to deliver or leave. Well, we've taken another major step towards a lot of these players leaving in the summer, haven't we?
I think so. It looks that way. So many of them out of contract, but can you really argue that any of them have put their hand up to try and win a new one? Not tonight, you can't. I'd argue that a few have maybe done better than others. Toto and Ciala have been quite consistent over the last few weeks, but tonight they're all as bad as each other, really, apart from Flynn Downs, who was head and shoulders, I'm going to keep raising my voice above this mower, head and shoulders, who was Flynn Downs head and shoulders above anybody else on the pitch in Ipswich this evening. He is under contract for next season. He did the post-match media interviews this evening and looked broken by it all, hurt by it all. He had a decent game. He looks more like himself. Hopefully he's a big part of what's going to happen here going forward, but a lot of players that are on that pitch tonight aren't going to be, whether they're under contract or out of contract.
Charlton away on Saturday. Keep up the saga. That will be finally when we can pretend that this saga about maybe sneaking into the playoffs is over, I imagine. We'll be there to cover it nonetheless, even though you are all sick and tired of it. This season needs to finish as soon as possible, and this big changes under the new ownership, and Paul Cook can begin in earnest. But 6 more games to go before now and then, and if you can bear it, we'll be covering them for you. Speak soon.